Hello and welcome to the 107th episode of the Gochuucast. And as
Thought it was 108.
oh my god, I literally just said
You
108, 108,
just said it
108. I said it
right
like
before we
three times
started.
right before we started. I think it's because I looked at the episode count and I'm like, yeah,
Otherwise, I
yeah.
wouldn't have said anything.
I was like, yeah, last
But
episode is 107, and then I like immediately went into the intro after, and then I'm like, yeah, 107 is like in the brain
yeah,
right now.
it was breaking the fourth wall for a second. It was within like a minute of
Yeah,
hearing him say, "Okay, episode 108." Then he goes, "Welcome to 107." I'm like, "Hold on."
yeah, but as you can tell from the title, or if you're just watching it on YouTube, you can see the little gravestone here. Spat is not with us anymore for the week, anyway. But yeah,
He's
he'll be
alive.
back.
It's enjoying birthday celebrations. Happy birthday, Spat. Although it's gonna be like 5, 6 days later when this is aired. I don't actually know if he's gone because of birthday stuff. He didn't tell us
I don't know
why he was leaving.
he's
I
somewhere
just
doing
know
stuff, but
I just know that it's his birthday
he's not here though, and that
during this time period that he is gone. So happy
yeah.
birthday. He will be back soon.
Yes, but for now we have Lane or Spat to rest too. So that's where we are right now. Which is a bit awkward because Peek and I have been slacking on anime.
I
Spat,
watched a show. Please put audio board clapping, celebrating behind. I watched one show this week. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's my contribution.
yeah, but for this week, yeah, take it away. Spat's been carrying the podcast, Loki. Can't lie.
Spat has been kind of carrying the podcast because he's been actually watching stuff, and I've been IRL bombed and slacking, and you've been slacking and maybe IRL bombed. Anyway, so I did watch the current 8 episodes that are out. Funny enough, of Kaiju number 8. It was a show I was really excited for. I have been in a slump, so I haven't watched it yet. But I finally was like, you know what? I want to watch something tonight. I looked at my list of things and was like, I feel like potential monkey shonen moment. And so I was like, all right, let's start Kaiju number 8. And it has been really good. I've enjoyed it a lot. I think
Yeah,
before you mentioned liking the fact that the main character isn't like a teenage prodigy or like anything like that. It if anything is like kind of the opposite. He's just like a middle-aged man who fucked up his whole life
I wouldn't say he fucked up
and
his
is
life.
like
He's just like he just wasn't him.
yeah, he's
He,
just like there.
he wasn't that guy.
And now he can be that guy kind of. Um and that's been fun. It's been like a little fresh take on a main character. And then you still get kind of the standard main character archetype with his friend, I feel like, which is
Yeah,
kind of nice too. The
it's
white-haired guy.
like Attack on Titan Light is like, I mean, not to like disrespect it or anything. It's definitely its own thing in like the fact that it definitely leans
I think with
into
the gimmick, it's
um
hard to not have the Attack on Titan
yeah, I
comparisons.
mean like the vice captain is just Levi, the main captain is like basically Mika, so like it's basic. You can definitely feel a lot of Attack on Titan inspiration from this. Um but I think probably tonally it has its own identity, I would say. Like it leans a lot more into comedy. Um when it's more in like the laid back portions of its story. But I mean, yeah,
It is a lot more than I think I was expecting it to be. Maybe not like funny, but yeah, it feels like it dips more into comedy than I thought it would. I guess is how I would describe
yeah,
it.
I thought it'd take itself like a lot more seriously, but it's definitely, at least in like some regard, definitely has a lot more comedy than you'd expect. Whereas Attack on Titan's like pretty serious 99% of the time.
It's also funny because they like double and triple down on the main character just being like quote useless. in like most situations. And I was at laugh because in most shonens I'm expecting like them to eventually be like, oh no, it's like the reveal that he's secretly really powerful. Like when they wore the kaiju fighting suits or whatever, and they're talking about the compatibility, and it's like, okay, there's one of two ways this can go. He's either 0% compatible
Or
or 100%
100%.
compatible.
Yeah.
Um, and it's one of those things where it's a lot of shonens would choose the 100% route because he's got his secret power, and then it's like, whoa, that's crazy. This one says, let's double down and make him 0% because that's hilarious.
Dude, it was so funny, like, during the exam, when he, like, gained a little compatibility, it was, like, 0.01% or some shit, it's like, yeah,
Yep.
okay. It's a growth.
All right then. Yep. Um, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I think I like most of the characters. I really like the vice captain character just because he's cool and he uses like blades. I love blade users.
Yeah. I mean, it's, like,
And
very niche in their environment, I feel like, but I guess.
yeah, that's what's fun about it too, is that it's blade user in a non-blade dominant environment. Which I mean, he is basically just Levi Light. But
He's
in
literally just
Attack on
Lee.
Titan, it was like a blade dominant thing, and so it's like Levi was the best at the preferred combat style, whereas in this guy is like one of the best at a combat style that's archaic.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of like I'm interested to know because like Attack on Titan obviously goes into a lot of like political stuff and there are factions and things like that. And I don't really get the feeling
There's a 0% chance
this
this is going into that. Like,
correct, but it is a curious thing to me as we get introduced to more of like the numbered kaiju and like these like intelligent kaiju, I guess, as to like what's gonna be up with that.
there's a bit
Because
of, like,
so
world
far,
history I feel like we're missing for sure. Because, like, what the fuck happened to
yeah.
Kaiju number 1 through 7 or whatever? Because, like,
So
uh,
shocker, I read a little bit of the manga ahead for funsies, and so I won't talk about what happens. But I don't know. It's interesting to see because right now we've only seen number 8, obviously, and then a little bit of number 9.
and then episode 8 had a small teaser at the end for what I assume is number 10. So,
Yeah.
uh,
So
yeah.
what we know so far is number 8, our main character, as of episode 1. Spoilers if you haven't watched episode 1. Our main character, number 8, just kind of like got like stun locked by a random kaiju and turned into kaiju number 8, and that's like all the information we have about that. But he has seemingly all of his like cognitive control and everything. Like
Yeah,
it's
this
not like
wasn't
he
like
becomes number
Attack on
8 and is
Titan,
a
I
monster.
guess, where, like, Aaron didn't know how to control his shit at first.
Yeah, no, he doesn't know how to control it at first, but it's like
It's not, like, that
automatically part of
detrimental.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is interesting to me because also the in that episode the kaiju makes a comment where it's just like found him, and then so it
Yeah.
makes me wonder like for why, and it could be like a funny reason, like to make one of these intelligent kaiju like that species has to like inhabit someone who's just like completely incompatible with human technology or something like that, right? Like it plays into the whole 0% thing and all that, or it's like he was chosen for a reason. Who knows? But it's interesting because that like sets up some agendas, but then like we're introduced to number 9, and number 9 just feels like chaos to me, or just like an intelligent version of a monster, right?
Yeah.
Rather than like having seemingly an agenda. So I don't know. it's interesting. I mean, number 9 being kind of a genderless probably does play into the fact that this won't get as like geopolitical as Attack on Titan does, but it also just makes me wonder like what's the like reasoning and lore behind all of this.
Yeah.
But yep, so that's my monthly contribution for shows that I've watched.
Epic. Fuck, dude. I'm so far behind on like literally everything.
I'm
Uh,
still behind on seasonals from 3 seasons ago, so life.
yeah, I mean, I haven't. There's two from last season I didn't finish. I'm like super behind on most everything from this season. Um, yeah, it's just I think I'm caught up. Yeah, looking at here, I'm technically only caught up with two shows right now, which is
Hell
Kaiju
yeah.
Number 8 and Mushoku Tensei.
And
Some of
one
them,
of those we covered, the other one I am so Mishogu Tensei, the problem is this was a group watch and it was like when it first came out, the three of us that were group watching had like all the time in the world, right?
mm-hmm.
The problem now is one of us is a European, one of us works like first shift, and one of us works third shift. Both of those American workers. So it's like the amount of overlap that the three of us have is basically non-existent.
Yeah, and that's why I
But we
try
still want to
not to
watch it
do group
together.
watches. It's
At
just
the time, it was fine.
at the time,
Like
yeah.
it's the
But at
same
what
same.
point do you look at this and you're like, you know what? Maybe we just don't do that.
Maybe we just watch it. I think that's the problem is that we're all stubborn because it's Mars who doesn't really care that much if he watches it or not. My buddy Vanilla, who's probably the one who enjoys the series the most, and then me, who's like, it's not like I'm watching many other things anyway consistently. So as much as I would like to catch up on Mushoku, because I think it has really good moments, and it's in kind of the same way that like I had to warm up to ReZero. I feel like I had to warm up to Mushoku a little bit
Yeah, I mean, it's
because one,
definitely
it
not
also has
everyone's cup of tea or whatever. Obviously,
the polarizing main character. That's the way I would
just
describe
a
them.
little bit.
Um, but now that like Mushoku's gotten into the thick of like all the fantasy aspects, I feel like I was really enjoying it.
Yeah,
I don't have much to say. I did get spoiled on something recently because it was trending, and Twitter will find me, but it's not really a major thing.
yeah, but I guess in terms of me, not really a whole lot. So I guess most I guess there's two things I can touch on. I'll touch on the shorter thing first. It's just more of like a news thing that came out. But ReZero Season 3, Episode 1 will be 90 minutes long.
Honestly, probably could have been longer.
Yeah. But
Just
I
knowing ReZero and the way that they do stuff, it's like I'm not surprised at all. But welcome to the ReZero movie.
yeah, I'm
I
not
I love. Sorry.
so I'm gonna say I'm not surprised because I've been thinking like the first volume of Arc 5 is like really like slow. Like it has there's a lot of establishment that it needs to do. There's a lot of moving pieces that need to be put into place, and I'm like, how are they gonna like? Because it'd be really awkward to have like 3 episodes of like what volume the first volume would comprise.
Mm-hmm.
And so just putting it all in one fat episode and then being like, all right, now it's time to hit the fucking gas pedal. After that is, I think, a smart decision on the director's part.
I think we've talked about this a few times. Um, I absolutely love this new trend of like, let's start episode 1 with like a movie. I know it's kind of the joke that we make because of the run times, but I feel like most shows I've seen make this decision, Freerun, Oshinoko, just to name like two notable ones I can think of immediately, it felt like a really good decision, even if like they technically get separated into episodes later because publishers are weird.
Yeah,
I just think
I guess
the
the pre-run is definitely more like it got stitched. Like there's really more like 4 episodes stitched together.
yeah,
And episode 4 just so happened to be like, okay, here's like the real story basically of what they're gonna be doing.
yep,
Um, but like I think this will be more along the lines of Oshinoko,
the
where you
Oshinoko,
could look at
yeah,
it as like a movie basically to start you off. Just because it's all gonna be like one continuous thing instead of like free run where it's typically like
it's
episodic in a
yeah.
sense.
I think it's a great trend. I don't think everything needs to do this, but I think it's nice to see that studios are willing to do this when it's like the difference of presenting the source material in a way that they want to versus being confined to like, oh, we're a 30-minute runtime with commercials, so we got to stick to that.
Yeah, I really hope because it's gonna be screened at AX, which of course the year I don't go is the year that my fucking
Yeah,
favorite series is gonna have its fucking third season premiere,
it's not
90
too
minute
late for you to
episode.
go by yourself.
I could go, and there's like a group of creators that I know that are going to, but it's like, you know,
You were just there last year, and
I
it's
was there
it's a
last
lot.
year. It is a lot of like, one, it's expensive. Two, I don't know. I don't know them as well as I know, I knew you all, and so it was like,
A
saying
little more
yes to go into
comfortable.
AX
Yeah,
with you all is like a much easier decision than being like, okay, let me go with this group of creators that I talked to a bit,
just
but
met.
not like,
Yeah,
you know, by the time I would go to AX, it would almost be like a year since I met some of them, and so it's like under a year of knowing people will go into fucking LA on my own. I just don't feel like dealing with all that bullshit. And
I
one
would.
of the easier things is I didn't have to deal with like any of the planning when I went. I just showed up, paid for
Yeah,
my
we
part of the
did do
hotel, and
all of
then
it.
yeah,
Our group, you already know this because you're not coming with, but um, our group has kind of decided that we're maybe every couple years we'll do the AX thing, but we'll probably do is every so often just go somewhere, maybe some smaller stuff. So like this year, we're going to Anime Matsuri in Houston with a good chunk of that group, and just kind of like change it up. We're thinking like Matsuri will probably be more not relaxed necessarily, but more chill than AX was, and it'll be nice to like
I mean, it'd definitely be
kind
more
of
chill.
change, yeah, kind of change up the places and stuff we're going to rather than just like LA every year.
Yeah,
But I think like every couple years doing something like AX would be fun. Like I would go again. I just wouldn't want to go again this year.
yeah,
Last
like
year was great for me because I got all my Fate shit and everything like that.
yeah. I don't. I mean, I enjoyed going. Like last year, I mean, I got like the Bunny Girl movie. That was cool.
Yeah,
Uh,
the Bunny Girl movie was really fun. We sat too close. I never knew getting front row seats to
I
a
think it
movie
was fine
premiere.
until like the
It
one
was fine.
horribly mixed audio of like the Idol concert came on and like blew my eardrums out. But
What I will say about that, I watched when I went to watch Knapsack Girl. It was a double feature, obviously. So I watched the first movie too.
yeah, it's still that loud. Like it's really
It was
loud.
still that loud.
I don't
Yes,
know why they did that. And like I don't know. Like you think someone watching that back to like make sure everything is fine would be like, "Oh damn, that's like really loud."
that's like a little too much.
It's way too
Um,
much.
so it was too loud anyway, and it's like you will always be able to say that you were front row for the world premiere of that movie because we were front row for the world premiere of that movie. No matter
I
how
mean,
you
not
swing it.
world premiere, but like I don't know how
The
like, it's
U.S.
like
premiere wasn't
the
it world
foreign,
premiere
it's
or
like
was it
North
just Fate that
American.
was world premiere? You're
Fate
probably
was world
right.
premiere. Bunny
Fate
Girl
was world
movie had
premiere.
already been in Japanese theaters.
It's still funny to me that the Fate world premiere was the dub.
Yeah, I mean, it's
It's a
American
good
movie, but
dub. Yeah,
it was
Fate
fine.
usually has pretty good dubs.
I did go back and watch it in sub though because I would like to know the sub voices for when the anime happens.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything about that yet. as far as I
Yeah,
know.
I mean, I imagine like they set the bar
It's
pretty
gonna
high.
take a while.
Yeah, and it's A1 pictures, so they're getting like whipped by Aniplex all the time. So they gotta.
It's like way better if it takes a while too, because the source material is still going.
Yeah,
So it's like
no clue
this
what'll
new
happen,
trailer
but
updated. Oh wait, no. This is the trailer from August. It hasn't had any
yeah.
updates in a while.
What's the new ReZero
Um,
trailer? It had the opening in it. It sounds pretty good.
the source material is ongoing, and this is like one of the really good Fate series. So I don't think there's a single Fate fan that wants this project to be rushed. Not that anyone wants anything to be rushed, but
Yeah,
I mean, it's still. I forgot that this is the picture that I have on the YouTube, but if you look on the YouTube at our little like icon pictures, I still have the saber from Strange Fake as the picture that you use. I didn't realize that until I looked at the new one.
yeah. Like I mean, I said before, like, hey, y'all were like, you had these pictures for a while. Like, Spat's still the fucking Fufu Koi girl, and I guarantee he
Yeah,
is not. I don't even know if he's watched or read any of
consumed
that.
Fukui in a
Yeah,
while.
it's like this is your this is you, this is your identification. Like, yeah,
I mean, I do like um Saber. I won't
yeah.
say the
You're
name of
fate
who it
pilled,
is.
so it's different. But like,
I'm fate pilled, so that's perfectly fine. Like I don't know who. There are a few characters they could change to, but it's like most of the characters that I put on are just like cool dudes that I like.
yeah,
So it's not like I go through phases with them, like how some people will have like waifu of the year or waifu of the season pick PFPs.
yeah. Who would do that?
Not calling out anyone specifically.
Certainly not me right now within this call.
Certainly not you. You'll do like multiples over the season at least, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, I just change it on the characters I like throughout the season or whatever. Uh,
It's been a while since my last change. I probably need one soon,
I don't
but I
remember
don't
what I
know
even
who it would be.
started with this season. I know eventually I went to. I started with Mutsumi from
Yeah,
Yozakura.
you did.
Then I think I went to Shizuru from uh, Shumatsu Train. And then now here we are with Kanade
Yep.
from
Who will be
EBK.
next? Place your bets below.
Probably someone from
I
Fillet
know
Fish.
I can see that. I know there's not really much for us to say about news that's happened this week, but I still think this Apothecary Diaries thing sounds not necessarily crazy, but
I mean, it's funny, but like,
it's yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, the artist is the main artist. I guess it doesn't
I
really make
mean,
too
I don't
much
know. The
difference.
manga is like a side thing for. It's like light
You're right,
novel
because
is the
you're right because
original
it's part.
source. So, but yeah, the Apothecary Diaries manga artist tax evasion moment. I mean, it's like there's nothing else really to say about it. They evaded a lot of taxes.
They invaded. What was the number? Like 47 million yen. So like
Yeah,
500K or something like that.
it was like 200 something thousand
Oh,
in
it's the other
U.S.
direction. You're
dollars.
right. You're right. You're right. Which is still crazy. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, there's not too much to say about it. There's been a lot of funny memes that I've laughed at that have come out of it. But
yeah. Like if you're like manga artist is gonna get canceled for anything, may as well be tax evasion
tax evasion's
over
like
other gigs.
not the worst thing.
Yeah,
Those have been the memes that I've seen.
yeah.
Yep.
I'll take tax evasion. But
But I don't know. It's just kind of been like a funny thing to see pop up at one point.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, not like they got canceled over tax evasion though. But you know what did get canceled? Love Agency. Every now and then I'd bring this up on the podcast, be like,
Yep.
still don't know how I feel about it. But yeah, so 39 chapters is what it finishes at, it would seem. Um,
Now you can officially know how you feel about it.
it was
Done.
starting to get better, and now it's done. And so I'm like, well, fuck. Uh, I
Took
have
a little too
3
long to cook.
chapters left to read, apparently. I'm 36 out of 39. Um, I don't know if it's like, I don't know, it just, yeah, it took too long for me to get invested into all of the. There's like four perspectives that it'll switch between, basically. Um, and I was only really invested in one of them at the start, and then by the time it started getting like later in, I was like, okay, two more of these are more interesting, but like the main, like the cover girl, fucking volume one, is like completely uninteresting. And now that she's finally starting to get more interesting,
Sad. She looks cute.
it's about to end. And I'm like, well, guess it's done.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, that I mean, I just think there was never really like anything to hook people to this. Like, uh, I don't know, Love is War is like a goofy concept with fun characters, and then Oshinoko, obviously, Volume One hooks pretty much most people who read it, and so, you get to Love Agency, and it's like, okay, this is like a kind of a goofy fun premise or whatever, but there's nothing to like hook you in besides if you like like I liked the character Seki is like the main male MC. He's cool, but like, and he had some like fun side characters around him. But other than that, it's like, that's it. I like a few characters in this, and now they're gone because it just didn't hook enough people. But
Which
yeah,
happens. I mean, it's hard, I think at least, to consistently write only bangers. And not that Love Agency was never going to get to like the same level as Kaguya or
I doubt it would have, to be
Oshinoko,
honest, just based on how things were. But
and that's
um,
fair. But you
yeah,
get what I'm saying. Like it's hard to like three-peat, honestly, in anything. So
yeah,
it's
I
one of those things where it's like I respect it, and I'm sure that somewhere along the lines there were going to be parts of this story that were really good. Maybe not at the same level as those two, but still, I'm sure like that in the master plan,
yeah,
right?
I
There
think
were
it
parts of
had
this that were like
some
really good.
potential. It just never really had the chance to. I mean, I don't know. It got nearly 40 chapters, so it had the chance to get off the ground, I guess. But uh,
I think 40 chapters is enough that if it hasn't, even for such a established author, I think 40 chapters is like if it's not producing, it's not producing. Like there's only so much leeway you can give
yeah,
when it like comes to business, right?
I mean, yeah, he tried, didn't really work. So hopefully for now he just finishes on or focuses on finishing Oshinoko and then decides what he wants to do next. Because just I'd like for now that this is ending, I'm just saying like Oshinoko's getting a lot better recently, so it's like now that he only has to focus on one thing.
And perhaps that is part of the issue is that it's focusing on two things, and they both kind of Oshinoko hasn't been bad per se, but I think it's been in a bit of a lull compared to a lot of the rest of it as of up till recently. Like the last like 3 or 4 chapters have been really good.
Yeah, like I think for a while, like honestly, like during the run of Love Agency, I don't feel like Oshinoko felt like Oshinoko, and now I feel like we're
Yeah.
getting back to things a bit more. Um, I don't know, and not to like blame Love Agency or anything. It's just I feel like when he's focusing on one thing, he's just better, which makes sense. Like all your thought is now going into one thing rather than split.
Well, it's even like you think of a good plot point and it's like, oh, which one do I put that in? Right? Sometimes it's the easy thing, but it's like I feel like inspiration doesn't just come linearly. So it's like you might hatch a plot line while you're writing like Oshinoko, for example, and then be like, what if instead of putting this into Oshinoko, I put this into my other series, Love Agency? And it's
Yeah,
almost like
I
you're
mean,
cannibalizing your ideas for like two products that just end up being a little bit less than if you had taken all of those ideas potentially and just focused on the one.
Yeah, I mean, I get like like some authors will. I watched some lectures from Brandon Sanderson. He's a really big American author, but uh, he was talking about how he comes up with stories is he'll have like he'll just be thinking, right, and if he comes up with a cool plot idea, he'll write it down. Comes up with the character wants to write, he'll plot it down or put it down, and then like a setting, he'll put it down. And he doesn't like think of like anything. He doesn't try to think of the whole package at once. He'll just think of cool things he wants, and
Hmm.
then he might be like, hmm, let me put like let's mash three of these together and see what happens, type of thing. Um, like I think
Well, I've
his
noticed this a lot because I've been getting back into writing recently, ever since doing the um the Pips project that we've been working on. I had a lot of fun writing that, and so I was like, okay, let me go back to some of my old stories and write some of them. And the nice thing is that the stories I've been working on are all drastically different from each other. So it's felt like it's one of those things where it's if I'm thinking about like fantasy stuff, then it's like, oh, that's this story. And I can think of that. But it's the same. Like I'll think of a plot point or like a character or something and then just kind of be like write it down, think about like, oh, where does that fit? Maybe like in my head I'll like trial run it in some of the various stories and be like, does that make sense anywhere? Because for the most part I have for the three that I have mostly finished, they're like storylined. So it's one of those things where it's I can add more things in the middle, but like the beginning is done and the end is done. Right. And
yeah
there's like key points. So it's more like addition at this point than making something. And I'm obviously when you're writing a weekly manga, it's not like you're coming up with, oh, what am I going to write this week straight up. But I'm sure there are also weeks where it's like, oh, I don't want to progress to this next story yet. What should I do right now?
yeah. Uh, I can't. I mean, there probably are some authors who are like, yeah, what am I now? What am I gonna do this week? But like,
I feel like the end of Fairy Tale was, oh, what am I going to do this week?
I think all of Rent a Girlfriend is am I gonna do this week?
I would agree with that. But that is to say, there's a fourth story I've also been thinking about lately because there's a character I've had in my head, and I just don't think that character fits in any of the stuff that I've been doing. But I'm kind of just letting that fourth story sit on the side right now because I'm like, do I really want to have three active stories I'm writing and then one that I'm doing like reworks on as needed?
Yeah,
Because the Pips one is done.
yeah, there's one thing I was like, yeah, let me like try writing this. I sit down, I like get a little bit in, I'm like, what the fuck am I even doing? Like, I don't have a, I have a beginning, I don't have a middle, and I have an end, but I don't know how the end's gonna work. Like, I don't know how I'm even gonna get to writing by. I don't know, I like just kind of like writing, but I need to have like not maybe not even like a written out outline. I just need to have some idea
Yeah,
of like
like
generally what I want to do, but
when
it's
I
hard.
start the writing process, I kind of make like the Cliff Notes version, basically, right? Like here are the key moments. Let me write all those down, and then I kind of expand that into like bigger outlines. Start adding more details. Think of other characters that would be there. But it's like, at least the way that I write, I don't generally actually start like writing prose and dialogue and stuff for a long time. Not until like the story's pretty much done. Even like the Pips one is, I say it's done, but I haven't written any dialogue for it because it's a game rather than like a book. So
Yeah,
I feel like there's no point writing the dialogue until we programmed it all.
writing's hard.
But
I've gotten like 100 pages into two separate stories, and then sat down and be like, what the fuck am I doing? I just stopped. Like, I don't know.
most of the things I write get to like the really detailed storyboard phase, and then I'm like, all right, that's good enough. I don't have to turn this into like a real book.
Yeah,
The one I've been working on is fun, but Because I have like a lot of the like art ideas in my head, but I am not an artist, so I cannot ever like bring those into fruition. But it does make it fun to have like that mental picture.
Yeah. I feel like, you know what, put me in like Japan or something, but if I was born as a Japanese man, I'd make it like a dog shit light novel. I could do that so easily. That would be my
Oh
calling
yeah,
in life, is to like make a shitty isekai or something. Uh,
if I had focused on learning how to draw as a kid, maybe I could do something cool with that.
I'll say,
Um,
like, as dog shit as a lot of these stories are, at least they're writing them. Like, that's like the hardest part, is
that
even
is
if,
true.
like, I will give credit to dog shit isekai light novel writers, because you still gotta write like 200 pages worth
Still
of shit.
writing it.
Like the
Also,
motherfuckers
it's
writing
still
smartphone,
selling.
like how the fuck, like I don't, how do you get like 27 volumes out of that? Like at what point do you not like burn out and want to die? Like after you when
Not
you're writing
only
smartphone.
not only how do you get 27 volumes out of that, how do you get people to read 27 volumes of that?
Yeah, like how are you not
That's the
canceled yet?
thing,
Like
right?
after 27 plus volumes or whatever, at what point are people, you know, at what who says like, yeah, Isekai Smartphone is my favorite light novel? Fucking hopefully no one, but like I
But
don't
it's
know.
one of those things too where it's like
Who's buying it?
um the best determiner of whether an author is good or bad, honestly, is how well does it sell.
I don't know about that. uh
It's I don't know. I'm not saying that like that should be an objective opinion, but I am saying that a lot of writing books is
I like
business.
there's
And
nuance. There's
if
definitely
he
nuance to it. Like
there is.
if you're writing, you have to write for an audience. Like I think I say all the time, I think the word boring is fucking stupid, but it's like a piece of criticism that even though it's like dumb and stupid, you have to like take into account, because you're not writing for you or other authors, you're writing for the like a general audience of like potentially monkey brains. Like you people
Yep.
need to pick up your book, and even if they are like unga bunga, they need to like stay hooked on it in some capacity. Like
Cliches exist for a reason.
yeah, I mean people just
And it's
comfortability.
sometimes yeah, I was gonna say sometimes that reason is so you can just flip them on their head and shock the audience. But a lot of times that reason is that's just what the people like.
Yes, anime has like 10 billion tsuneres. You know why? Because it works for people. You know,
You know why? Because that shit sells.
do sell.
That is kind of the nice thing though about writing, like just for myself, not necessarily thinking of anything I write is like, oh, I'll sell this one day or make it into a real thing. It's just kind of like writing a story for me that I enjoy, not having to think about any difficult stuff like, does this appeal to the mass public? Who am I selling this to? Like age and like gender range, stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
I don't have to think about this.
I think I mentioned this before, but like once again, going back to the Brandon Sanderson stuff, he was talking about how he got like people calling his shit boring, and he was like, "What? I thought this was like really cool." And all he did to like fix the issue with his next set of readers is he just changed the reason that they were doing something, and all of a sudden it wasn't boring anymore. And I'm like, how the fuck? Like I wouldn't be able to think of that if like someone. If my like beta readers were coming back and like this part's fucking boring, I'm like, well, fuck, I guess it's over. I'm
Well,
done.
shit, I don't know.
But
Yeah.
he's just like, okay, you know what? Let me like they're going here because of this and it instead of this, and it's like, oh wow, genius, now it works. It's like what? Like
What did he
I
change?
so there was like a detour his characters had to take or something in one of his books,
Hmm.
and he was like, okay, this is cool. What I'm doing is cool. And then, but his readers were like, this part's boring. He's like, what the fuck? And so he just like upped the stakes. Like, they don't go here, this character is gonna fucking die. And then now
And
it's
now
high
everyone's like,
stakes. Everyone's like,
yeah.
oh fuck, they got to go to this place. And it's like, what? They still got to go to the place. Like surely, like what's happening is still the exact same. Basically, it's just now there's like a little bit of stakes to it. Like I
I
don't
will
know.
say the one thing I am really bad at, I've noticed with writing, and it's why I do think potentially if I ever like made writing some sort of a career slash hobby, I would do games rather than like books. Is I'm really bad at writing kind of like the fluff scenes
Yeah, like the
or
middle is
like the
really difficult.
things that, yeah, things that need to happen to kind of like build the world and characters and stuff, but not needing to happen to progress the story, I just find really difficult because I'm like, all right, I finished point A and I
Yeah,
want to
it's
go to
like
point
forward,
B.
forward, forward.
And it's
Like
easy with like the Pips project, for example, since it is a game.
yeah,
It's
you don't
like
have to like
I've
world build quite
written
as much.
the main story, and then I will just like put points in and be like, do side quests here for a bit, progress to this point, and then we'll continue. And then, like we can just write those side quests later.
Yeah, I always feel like so awkward with like side plots because I think that's probably where some of my issues run in. I'm like always constantly trying to like go go go. I got to get from point A to point B. I think that
And
that
it's
is
like
my
you don't have enough
issue. The
content.
first thing I
Yeah.
put 100 pages into, it's like okay, we're over 100 now, and we're like getting way too close to the end. I'm like, well, like this
How do
journey
I?
this journey did not take as long as it should have, and so I'm like, fucking, I'm done here, whatever. But it's like I don't know, it just feels uh like you don't want to like fuck up the pacing, but at the exact same time, it's like what is the pacing? What is your story? If it's an adventure, you should let the
Yeah,
adventure
that's why.
happen instead of just speeding to the end or the cool part.
Yeah, like I couldn't. I would struggle to write a story like Free Run, for example, because most of Free Run honestly is fluff.
Like side, yeah,
Not
it's
in
like side
like a
quests and
bad
shit.
way. Yeah, not in a bad way, but Free Run is just here's our quest for this story as we're like on a grand quest. And I love the concept of that. I wish I felt really good. And some of that is just like comfort with the world you've created. Like as I've expanded some of the stories that I've had for years, I've gotten more and more of like those type of plot lines that I might think are important, but not necessarily plot driven. But that's because every time I think about it or write something, I am like learning something new about this world that I've created.
Yeah,
But Free Rent is like it's just about the world that they live in, which is really fun. But honestly, it's hard to even pinpoint when we're on a main story in Free Rent or if we're just like on a little side quest, which is great.
I mean most of the time it's just a little like I feel like it's not. I mean, what is the main story even? Technically, none of it's the main story. Then, like, if they take a step forward, that's the main
Technically,
story.
yeah, none of it
Like,
is and everything is. Like ReZero feels like it's point A to point B, but it really isn't.
ReZero,
As
people complain like the plot isn't like what is the plot? ReZero doesn't have a plot. I'm like, yeah, it fucking does. It's just like super background compared to like the plot is like they want to make Amelia ruler is basically
mhm.
like what the end goal is. Everything that happens in ReZero is just getting to that point though. It is like the the plot is there. It's just not driven by a story. Like it's just driven by the characters existing. And so it's just not like it's not typical as like some people might be used to. Like in Steins Gate, it's like okay, we made this time machine and now there's like problems because of it. And so your thing is now that we made the time machine, we gotta fix these problems. That's the plot. It's very driven by the characters and their actions, but there's like a story surrounding that. Whereas ReZero is like, yes, this is the end point, and then there's a lot of bullshit happening in this world, and we're getting caught up in it because, of course, we are. We know we're some of the most important people that exist, and so yeah, it's just so many different ways to write a story where it's like, I think not
And
enough.
sometimes point A to point B is like the right plan, but
I mean, it just depends on how you go about certain things. Like when people like Demon Slayer's plot is like I don't know, like it's kind of like almost ReZero's in a way where like there's an end goal and like technically everything that happens leads up to it. I just don't think it's as interesting as like with the way ReZero does it. Like Demon Slayer, it's like, all right, here we are, here's the location for the season, we fight, and then we get like blood from the demons we kill or whatever, and then hopefully that
yep,
turns my sister back. Where
probably someone dies
yeah, it's
who
just
you didn't care about before the arc.
yeah, because it turns from like monster of the week into like monster of the arc or whatever, and then you just have to
Which I
new
mean,
new
that's
arc, new
shonen.
monster, beat monster, and go from there.
I think shonens can make it really interesting, but at its core, like battle shonens are very like monster or villain of the arc.
Yeah, and it's like the way ReZero does it, it'll drop you into something that maybe you literally don't understand at all. Like within Demon Slayer, you understand like what everything surround, like you know the characters, and you know the only thing you'll really learn any given Demon Slayer season is like, all right, what's this demon's power? All right, now we know that. Now it's just gonna be a fight against that power for however many episodes. Whereas like ReZero, you go to the new place for the season, and then it's like, okay, now there's like all these new characters. There's a whole new section of the world you've never been to before. There's a whole bunch of lore, and all this is gonna connect to like the main story, which is something the anime struggled a little bit with. Is like so much gets cut that like there's some a way season 2 should have ended that to like set up some future stuff, and I don't know. And you know, there's the side stories that set up shit that happens in the main story. There's just so much happening within the world that like I don't know.
You
It's
just
like
can't capture it all too
it's like
sometimes.
near unadaptable. Like I don't know how they're gonna do arc 7 and 8. Like genuinely, I just don't understand how. There's like multiple EX novels that are like required to understand what's happening. Like you can just let what happens, and then you know that's something I guess. But it's like you know there's just a lot of there's a lot of shit going on in ReZero. Uh, it's interesting how Tepe actually like people were like pretty done with Arc 7, like fuck, please kill us, you know, end this arc, please. But then it like gets so long, he splits into Arc 8, but then like he like super cooks with Arc 8. Now it's all fine. I don't know.
Now, yeah, now everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Arc 7 was great." This is there's a One Piece arc that had like a lot of that type of opinion. It was like an older arc. It's Skypiea for anyone listening that is familiar with One Piece. Daniel is not, so that word means nothing to him. But it's an older One Piece arc that a lot of people, when they first watched it, or even like when they initially think back on it, kind of just felt like, oh, this is an okay arc that happened, but why should I care? And then, especially as of recently, but throughout the story, like more and more things have dropped that have connected back to that arc. That like now you look at it, and it's like, oh, this is like one of the most lore heavy arcs in the entire series. We just didn't know at the time.
Yeah, like we were going through Arc 8, and people were like, "Oh fuck, like he's cooking. Like let this man cook." And then Arc 8 ends. And now apparently I have not read like any of Arc 8 because I need to reread all for Zero at this point. Like I'm fucking cooked. I there's so much information I don't remember, and it's gonna
That's how
take.
I feel about Grimgar. I love Grimgar, but it's been so long since I read any that it's like if I ever went back to reading it, I would probably have to start from nearly the beginning, if not just the beginning.
Like it's been years and years and years since I've read some of this stuff, and so it's like okay, now I have no fucking clue. Like now that side stories especially are start, there's a lot of side stories I haven't read, and so you know now that they're a lot of them are becoming necessary, it's like oh well fuck. It's like I need to go back, I need to read all of this, then I need to read the side stories, and it's like oh my god, like yeah, it's just a lot. I got time. I got time. ReZero not ending
Oh
anytime
yeah.
soon. Not anytime soon. Fucking, he said he'd never make another. Maybe I might just be lying out of my ass every time I say this, but I think he said that he was never going to make another arc as long as Arc 4, which was season 2, and then here he is with the most recent one. So it's just like I've got
It's
time.
like the ReZero's in that same One Piece conundrum where it's like it's hard to really imagine it ever ending, but at the same time, it does eventually have to end.
Yeah, like I have no idea how it's going to end, but it's going to end at some point. Like I don't know. And it could just keep getting longer. Like, for a while, it's like 11 arcs, guys, 11 arcs, then we're done. It's like, oh, well, we had to split this arc into 12 arcs, guys, 12 arcs, then
12
we're done.
arcs, yes.
Hey, who knows? Who knows how long some of these other ones are going to be, you know? Like, we just got to let the man cook, and then he'll be done when he's done. But, yeah. I need to, like, not die before it's over. That's all. That's my one goal. Let me
Like
live until the end.
every One Piece fan's like secret thought slash fear is just it's so long and it's Oda can say as much as he wants. Oh, there's only 5 years left, but um even now, a couple years after the last time he said that, it's like, yeah, no, we have way too much to cover.
Yeah.
Like maybe from where we are right now, I could see 5 years, but there's just way too much stuff for me to conceivably see it ending very soon. But it's definitely like I would like to see the end of One Piece.
Yeah, I don't need to be like, I need to like be in the pearly gates of heaven being like, hey God, can I use the computer? You know, new Zero chapters out, I gotta read it.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, like go to the computer lab in heaven, yeah. It's like, hey, got
I love
any
the
open
concept.
spaces.
I love the concept though of like because obviously this is an idea that we know nothing about. The concept of like heaven having technology
Yeah.
that like we have in the current day because it's like adapting to
Yeah,
like
just imagine
humans.
like fire like people from like 2,000 years ago getting into heaven, and it's like just slowly but surely, just all this new stuff keeps getting introduced up there. Like, just you one day you just have a computer in your living room in heaven or whatever. It's like, what the fuck? What's this? Or
Yep.
do you think they had those 2,000 years ago in heaven? You know, maybe God just has like the
Has
end
it
game
always
computer.
like when we go to heaven, will we get access to future technology?
Yeah, or
Are we
do we get the
stuck?
updates like as time goes on?
Do we get like a room like, hey, this is this is where the millennials stay? And
Yeah.
we get our millennial
Stay in your
technology.
technology sector. No culture shocks are allowed here.
Um, I don't know. The concept's funny. That could be a fun story that you could do something with the like dynamic of heaven with the evolution of humans.
Well, it's like a manga waiting to happen. I feel like that'd be a difficult like novel to write.
It would, but it does sound kind of funny.
Yeah,
Just
it's a goofy
the
concept.
concept.
It's kind of like
I
the
love thinking about
cartoon
that
humor of
because
like humanizing like abstract ideas. Like in SpongeBob when he's like in his mind he has all his little guys running around on fire. You know that just like personifying the concept like, unknown concepts is always a funny thing.
yeah, I just think they tell me that when you go to heaven, get eternal happiness forever. And all I'm saying, I don't know if I will have eternal happiness forever if I have not seen the end of One Piece. So we might need to negotiate.
Yeah, you just gotta like go to the manga store in heaven and be like, oh, all right, here we go. New One Piece volume is out. Do you think they get like the weekly Shonen Jump up there? You know, or do you gotta wait for the volume release?
Surely you have to wait for the volume release.
You don't get a weekly up there. I guess when like, you know, uh, time is eternal. Like I guess the concept of waiting for a volume release really doesn't mean anything. It's like okay, yeah, just gotta wait like a month or whatever. No, I mean, not a month. That'd be way too short. But you know,
Get your weekly shipment of new books. It's like the fucking card shop in Yu-Gi-Oh! Your weekly shipment of new card packs.
yeah,
Everyone go get your boosters.
it suck ass like just being in heaven. Like you think you get access to like all the cards for whatever game you're playing, or it's like nope, you gotta pull for them still. You like a weekly allowance or something.
That would be funny. Just it's like God has said, okay, you get 3 books this week.
Yeah,
Pick them
should
out.
pick wisely. I get 3 a week is insane. Like honestly, I mean, well, fuck. I mean, you don't have anything to do
I
up
mean,
there
you have
theoretically.
unlimited time.
You have unlimited
You
time, so I guess
probably
3 a
don't
week
have
is
to
actually
sleep.
insane.
Don't have to sleep. Don't have to eat.
You can take
None
like
of
a
this.
casual nap up in heaven, just pass
I
some
guess if you
time.
want.
There'd probably be no clock up there. Like you go to sleep, you wake up, you're like, how long has it been? Who knows? It could have been like a week or something.
10 years have passed.
10 years have passed since your nap started.
It's not like you got anything to do. Let the 10 years pass.
Yeah, like 10 years pass and like you like more of your family members are there now. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like what happened while I was asleep?
Little Timmy's brought the Switch 5. Let's
The Switch
go.
5, yeah. You get to pick like one earthly item to take with you.
I think the concept of bringing one earthly item does sound kind of fun. I don't know what I would pick though.
What would I pick?
I assume it has to be a non-living thing because it'd be kind of fucked up if you, if you like died and we're like, oh, I want to bring my pet dog, and then you bring your pet dog with. It implies your dog also is dead now.
Yeah, I
Congrats, you
mean, you
killed
could
your
like
dog.
wait it off, you know. I
I
guess
feel
I
like it
just
should be
take my
part of the deal.
PC. Like, I feel like oh fuck, I don't get the monitor, do I? I
Ooh,
actually get
that's
that.
that.
You
Ooh,
get one
that's.
earthly item. It's like fuck,
We
dude.
gotta
Like,
be careful. Loopholes do
yeah,
exist.
do I take? Do I like? Yeah, is this like a
I
monkey's
mean, if
paw
you
thing?
have
Like,
your
if I take my PC,
PC,
do I not get the monitor? Like,
yeah.
or can I
I
like
mean,
say my setup is one bundle?
you probably don't get internet access.
Oh yeah,
That's for sure.
does God have like high speed Wi-Fi? Or what happens up
See,
there? I don't know if I get the
I
connection.
do you think they have their own internet? Like, you know how
You know, I
we
gotta
have
ask around for the
the internet
password.
with the humans, but like heaven internet is like only people in heaven have access. It's
Or
like a
you're
whole
just like
separate.
in space or some shit, like, and you should get like a random internet connection. Like, you want to connect.
Yeah, it's a completely different setup.
Yeah.
What are we even talking about at this point?
Well, not anime, that's for sure.
This could be an anime. I'll stand behind that.
It could be.
I don't know if it'd be good. It'd be different.
Like a funny slice of life.
Yeah, I think a funny slice of life that just like follows
I
a
could
bunch
make
of
like a
characters.
one-shot manga off of this. I just need someone to
You
draw it
could
for me.
definitely make a one shot on this. I've always thought that I can make good stories if I just had talented people to do all the things I can't do.
If I just had everyone do things for me, the life would be so much easier.
And all I had to do was tell them the story. That then I would be able to write peak.
I can write the next Oshinoko. I just can't draw it. Yeah. Actually, like, it's funny, like, sometimes I'll think of, like, extensions to stories that I already know. Like, I thought of, like, an extension for Licorice Recoil that was pretty cool, but I'm like, I can't make that. Like, obviously, I can't, like,
It's
this is
not
definitely, like,
allowed.
its own identity, but it's based on this. I can't steal that, you know? So it's, like, in story idea in limbo. Like, maybe I can spin something off of it later, but right now, you know, copyright laws. I gotta wait for that to be, like, public domain or something, then I could do something with it. Not that I don't think Japan has like public domains. I actually don't know how that works over there. But considering their
That is an interesting
copyright
question.
laws, it's probably not a thing.
You probably can't make money off of it, I would assume. But like we do see a lot of like people just write like fanfics and stuff
Yeah,
of
like there's fanfics,
that
dojins,
same
shit like that,
idea.
you know. But
So it's like obviously you can write these stories, but there's probably workarounds. Like it can't be affiliated with the main
it's like
story.
how
There probably
Pokemon
is a
Showdown has been
disclaimer.
in beta since it's like inception, basically. Like
Yep.
and if it was ever not beta, it'd probably get shot immediately. That'd be like a crazy like turn of events if Pokemon Showdown like died. Like what even happens at that point? Like Pokemon YouTubers in fucking shambles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freaking all the Pokemon IP stuff is so funny to me. Just like
I would never be able to sleep at
seeing
night if I
all of
was a
the stuff.
Nintendo creator.
Yeah,
You're just
it's just
waiting.
like you're either waiting for the C&D to come one day, or it's like you're going through every legal hoop you can to try and avoid any eyes on you. But it just seems inevitable that anytime people make these Pokemon projects, they're either going to be like very flawed, like Pokerogue has been. Pokerogue has been a good game,
I've
but
been playing a lot of Pokerogue. Like a lot.
their servers are rough
I feel like I haven't had that
sometimes.
big of a I think the one problem I have had recently, not even like a problem, it just happened to me and I was like kind of upset about it because it just like it was a time waste.
Hmm.
But I was on like the final fight and I was like one hit away, and then like the game crashed, and then I tried to reload it, and none of my saves would load, and so I had like I don't know, I just had to like literally wait a few hours, and then it was fixed. But like it was annoying in that moment. I'm like, well, fuck, I was at the end because I've been doing monotype runs for in classic mode, uh, just to see like if I use all of one type, can I beat the game like this? Uh, some of them have been easier than others, but I can actually copy paste I can give you my whole checklist of what I've done so far, but it's been
Okay. Are there like achievements in it or anything?
there are achievements. They
Like
don't
you
really
could
mean anything.
actually.
Like they like give you points, but like those points don't mean anything. But yeah, that's like been all my completed ones. I've technically been going in alphabetical order since
You did the first couple.
I decided to do all of them. Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'll just go in alphabetical order now. I failed a grass one because grass is dog shit type with dog shit bonds in the wild. Because I like you only get like a limited starter point, allocation, and so I can start with
Hmm.
maybe like a few decent ones or like one really good one and another decent one. But like all the grass types you find in the wild are dog shit because grass has a lot of like filler in it. And so right now I'm on
Like
grass.
the
I
other,
skipped the ground.
it's like the other hard part about really getting into it is you just have to play a lot to like really unlock a lot of stuff. Like if I go into it right now, I haven't played it all on my PC. I would have the base starters with like nothing unlocked, and it
Yeah,
would
like
just be
it's a
like,
little
oh, you
rough
just
when you
go.
start until you start getting a few. Like once you get going, it's like you get a lot of stuff, but it is a bit more rough in the beginning. I think it's like part of the fun of it though. Is just the advancement. Like as you go on, like you get better and better shit to like for like fire. I tried like a couple times, and it wasn't working out. And then lo and behold, like I complete my mono ghost run, and then I get a Reshiram egg. Guess who carried my fire team?
Hmm.
Fuck, it's just one of those things where eventually you'll get the tools that you. I mean, not that you're meant to be played in fucking monotype, but eventually, if you want to do something, you will get the tools to do it eventually. Um, I think the most difficult thing with the monotype runs is like when you're playing a roguelike, you were at the mercy of RNG, and Pokemon's already an RNG game. But every item selection I have, will I had the Mega Bracelet for like nearly the entire run, did not get a Mega Camera update, and so I just had a base ass camera up for my fire run, which it worked in the end, but it could have been better, right?
The AI is pretty good in it, isn't it?
What is the AI? No,
The AI,
the
like
AI
the
is
train,
so stupid, like
is
genuinely,
it bad?
like brain dead,
Oh, okay.
actually, like genuinely so dumb. Uh, yeah, the AI is terrible. If the AI was good in this game, like I'd be cooked, like it actually super cooked. Uh, but there are like times the AI will do like inexplicably dumb things. One thing it likes to do a lot is when its Pokemon is low, it'll like try and switch it out to something else. But like sometimes like you're just clicking a button, right? Like I'll be trying to
Yeah.
like sack a mon off, but I got the other opponent's Pokemon low, and so they just switch out instead of killing me. And then their next Pokemon just takes a shit ton of damage. And so
For
it's
no
not
reason. Yep.
yeah, and then since that one took a lot of damage, they'll switch out again. So it's just like a whole thing until finally they get something that I like decides to kill me. So yeah, it's just
Real players do this too. Real competitive players do this all the time, and it's like it throws people off when they play me because I'm the opposite. I'm like two sack happy usually
yeah,
in battles, so like they'll be expecting, oh, he should switch here because he probably has a resist, and then I'm like, well, my resist is my win condition, so I'd rather just lose the thing I have in front of me.
yeah,
But like people do that a lot where it's they could win if they just kept this Pokemon at full health and like had a good scenario, but instead they're like, oh, I resist, take 35% of their health, and now they're in range of something later.
yeah. I think like the one thing I'd change about the game is that the drop rates in the egg gotcha are dog shit, like terrible, like awful. I like literally worse than actual gotcha games probably
The
in terms.
eggs.
Yeah, the eggs are terrible. Like getting a legendary egg is so almost impossible. It feels like.
How
Uh,
often do you get eggs?
like in my monotype runs, like because I am, you'll get like egg voucher. Like I think part of the problem is when you beat like a gym leader for the first time, you will get like a 5 egg like voucher or whatever. But when you beat him a second time, I think you only get a 1.
Okay.
Uh, but
So it's like early on you're getting a lot of
early
eggs,
on
but
you're getting
as
a
you
lot. As you like beat more gym leaders, like you're getting less access to like the bigger tickets. But like every time you beat the game, like it'll give you like a free 10 pull. Like usually I'll end up with like nearly 100 eggs probably after each monotype run. Like I,
yeah,
you'll get a decent amount, but most of those are dog shit. Is the problem? Like it does not matter. And there's no like like other ways to get them that I know of. I don't know. Like they have like a daily run thing. I don't know how that works if you get eggs from that.
something like that.
Yeah, but
I know
like
there's like the endless stuff. I don't know if you messed with that. I know
I
nothing
have
about
not
it.
started an endless run. I think one of the difficult things is like I don't know. With the endless runs, it's like you have to get a broken. Like you need something fucking disgusting to like carry you through the game, and I don't really have anything like that right now. Like I think my best bond is probably Groudon, I guess. Which I don't know how far that would carry me in an endless.
Mhm.
But I think like the meta right now is like Zacian, because it beats like Eternatus pops up every now and then as like a like the end boss thing, and so if you have Zacian, it's
Yeah,
just it can't fucking touch you, you murder it.
yeah, but who cares about the meta? It's a roguelike.
I know that, but
If
it's like
anything, you do the meta.
you do the meta to unlock shit, but it and
Yeah, I was gonna say you do the meta maybe once.
yeah. But I don't have Zacian. I have Zamazenta, which was dog shit. I used it in my fighting run, but Z-
Most of the legendaries can you only get through eggs?
you can
Where do you
you
find
can
them?
find them in the wild. It's just really, really, really rare that you'll do that.
It's fair.
You probably have a better chance of getting them through egg than you do like in the wild. Uh, like I got there's some you'll run into more than others. Like the Lake Trio is really easy to find. I feel like I got Heatran in the wild. I got like a Landorus incarnate in the wild. You can get stuff. It's just not as often as I'd like.
Interesting. I like the idea of playing it, but also I'm like very much not a person who is able to just take hours of my life and put it into one thing.
Yeah, like
I'm
I did not
too
plan to play it at first, and then I started, and now I'm like sucked in. At least until I finish these monotypes. I don't know how like hard I'll go on it after that, but I have a goal, and I will complete that.
for
I
now.
don't
It's yeah,
I
something.
don't have that many left. It's grass, ground, ice, poison, rock, steel, and then I'll be done with monotypes. And then maybe I do an endless run, see how it goes, and then who knows? Maybe I'll probably fall off the game eventually, but for right
I
now,
mean, that's the natural progression of all games. Is that everyone will fall off eventually. Something new will happen, or they'll
yeah,
just
like
stop like
Emerald
doing
Rogue
things.
was like the big thing for a while, but now that's like done, I guess, and now it's Poke Rogue is the big thing. Though I think Poke Rogue is just infinitely easier to like get into, just because you don't have to download. You'll just log onto a website. Congratulations, you're playing
Yeah,
Poke
you don't have
Rogue.
to patch it or anything.
Yeah,
Patching is a pain.
it's not that big of a pain, but it's just like I see like I need to patch something. I'm like, I gotta wait. Where's my patcher? Do I still have that installed? If I don't, I gotta go get it. So it's a whole big thing. But yeah, I mean, I've been generally having fun with it. It's just the RNG aspect of a roguelike, also combined with the RNG aspect of Pokemon, can be very infuriating.
Yes. Well, because like you said, to get stuff like Megastones, for example, you have to like find the ability to get them.
Yeah, I have to one get the bracelet, and then I gotta get the stone. And it was hard enough to get the bracelet. Like, and if you have like shinies, your luck goes up and shit like that. But I'm doing these monotype runs, and I have very limited like starter pool. I also have very limited shinies. That's its own problem. But so most of the time I'm going through this with like the lowest level luck, just trying to like get literally anything. Like right now I'm doing ground, and I started with my ground on, I'm trying to get this shit done. But I still haven't gotten the Mega Bracelet to try and get Primal Ground on, which I would very much so like. So, it's, I'm just at the mercy of the game.
I'm sure there's like a meta to like building a new account too.
I mean,
Like, get shinies early on feels like it makes a lot of sense to be.
you have to get lucky with that, though. Like, you're probably better off just staying on one account, starting an endless run, and then, like, hoping you get the shiny charm at some point, and you just keep going until you get shinies. Because, like, you can get the shiny charm in, like, a classic run, but it usually doesn't mean anything. Like, I found, like, 2 natural shinies. And, like there's a shiny up in the, like, the gotcha egg thing, which is what I pull from. But it doesn't feel like it means anything, like, every, like, 100 eggs, I maybe get, like, 2, maybe 3 if I'm lucky. And they're usually dog shit bonds, and so it really doesn't mean anything, because, like, I'm not going to use this, But yeah, you feel very at the mercy of the game.
Fair enough.
But yeah, we will have long since stopped talking about anime, so I guess it's probably a fine place to end it. If you enjoyed,
we never really started talking about anime.
We kind of did. We did for like 2 seconds, and
A
then
little
it,
bit.
and then we went on to stories, and then somehow got onto roguelikes, I guess from video games or whatever. But oh yeah, if you enjoyed this episode, leave a like, comment, subscribe, whatever platform you're on, 5 stars. If you're on the audio only side of thing, like, go to the YouTube. Is the Order of Anime podcast. We're the only one. Same thing from YouTube to whatever audio platform you're on. RIP Google Podcasts. They're getting rid of that, but I don't think anyone uses Google Podcasts anyway, so I think we'll be okay. Yeah, it's Order Anime Podcast. Can't possibly miss us. Every Saturday, 3 p.m. EST without fail, except for when we do. There will be a new episode out for you to enjoy. So thank you for watching once again, and we hope to see you in another episode. Goodbye.